When you live with illness your whole life, you understand how precious your life is, and it makes you far more ambitious and fight harder. But there's that balance of fighting harder, but letting go.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Cindy Ashton. Previously, episode 335 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been 2 years, 8 months, and 25 days since we last spoke.
You are not broken. You are not inadequate. You do not need to be fixed. You are beautiful, brilliant as you are. Breathe that in, step into it, and be your greatness.
That was then. This is now. Cindy, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing freaking phenomenal, and I'm so excited to be on your show again.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. The last time we spoke, we covered a ton, and not hiding your energy is, I don't think it's even possible for you to hide the energy you show up with. I mean, like, it's uncorked, isn't it?
It's completely uncorked, hence my TV show, Cindy Uncorked.
Love it. So how's that been going?
Well, we did a couple of seasons last year and the year before, and we had a whole bunch of viewers and got picked up by a bigger network, which was awesome. And now we're on hiatus, and we'll be starting back up by the end of the year.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Where can people
Yeah.
go to follow you? I mean, there's a ton of things that you're doing, bringing value. Of course, having those conversations that get people to disarm. Where can people go to find out more?
Yeah, about my TV show or about my speaking training or about what? Or about everything.
Is there like a one-stop shop where we can go and then everything spins around it? Or is it different
Yeah.
sites? Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
tell
mean,
us.
if you go to cindyashton.com, that's for my singing and my performing and my TV show. But you can definitely get links to my speaking training and my company and my booking agency there.
Oh, wonderful. And of course, you can just type in Cindy Ashton, and I believe you pop to the top, if I'm not mistaken.
About 100 pages worth, yes.
So give us an update. Like, what are you working on or what's new?
Yeah, so what's new is that I am a bit of a warrior. When something upsets me, instead of being upset, I turn it around and make it fantastic. So because I've been in the speaking world for over 20 years, one of the things I've really noticed is that there's a huge pay gap when it comes to women speakers. And the men are making way more money than the women, and far less women are chosen for the coveted keynote spots. So our company, Minerva Enterprises, are launching a 100-day campaign to spread awareness and educate women and help them to grow into high-paid keynote speakers. So we are on a mission. We're creating a cause. We're creating a movement. And and we're doing hashtag Our Voice Too. So we're playing off the Me Too movement, but instead of just being about one specific thing, it's about different groups. So this year, our campaign is around the Our Voice Too. The Our Voice is around women speakers. Next year, it'll be about people who've experienced bullying, and the year after and the year after. So we're really on a mission with our company to do social good and help people to apply amazing presentation skills to be able to catapult in their careers and help them overcome bullying and anything else that we could possibly help them with.
That's wonderful. Where are you located? What state are you functioning from?
I am back in New York City. I don't know where I was in the world last time we talked because I literally moved 18 times in like the 10-year period, and now I'm finally settled in the New York City area. I love it here.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad to see what you are doing. It sounds like it's a ton of fun, as usual.
What do I not have fun?
I mean, like, how are you handling what surrounds you? You never hear you speak too much about the challenges with chronic illness that's in the background. Like, how are you handling the city life with that?
Yes, I love that you brought that up because I do live with invisible disability and illness. And a lot of people look at me, and when I try to advocate for myself and put boundaries, and people are like, but you look fine and your energy is amazing on TV and on stage. But what people don't know is how I manage it, which goes back to your question. So one of the things I do is, first of all, I live on the Jersey side. So I live atop the cliff, and I literally am overlooking Manhattan, and I wake up to the sunrise. So I've got my peace and my quiet, so I can go in the city, kick ass, and then come home to my sanctuary. So that's one of the things. But the major thing that I do to really make sure that I can manage a chronic illness and pain is that I have really, really strict routines. So, what that means is that every morning I wake up and I'm doing deep breathing and releasing and sounding and yoga and meditation. I make sure that I control all the food that goes in my body because I know what foods trigger my body. I make sure I'm in bed by a certain time at night. I make sure that I'm meditating at night and journaling, releasing any emotional stuff that could be contributing to the pain. So, it's really a lifestyle of if I'm going to kick ass and be a high performer, then I need to manage my daily pain, or else I would never be effective and be able to do the good that I'm doing in the world.
Making the decisions you've made to be where you are and being intentional about it today, when you look back, do you have any regrets?
No, as much as there's a lot of points in my life, I look back and go, ooh, really? What it comes down to is that everything that happens in our life unfolds as it needs to. And when we drop into the pain, when we drop into the bad decisions we've made, quote unquote bad decisions, when we drop into whatever we're feeling, it actually allows it to shift and change, and we learn and we grow. And I would never be where I am today if I hadn't had the shit kicked out of me many times in my past.
It is fascinating to see how you have ensured that you're allowing individuals the insight of who you are so that they too can be inspired and motivated to be all that they can be. Humor is a big, huge, large part of who you are.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's funny because I'm naturally funny, but part of it was a defense. So when you are born with heart failure and have multiple heart surgeries and the left side of my body is structurally damaged. So growing up, I was a really funny looking kid with giant beet red scars on my body and was bullied a lot and was hated a lot. And when you're being bullied, there's different ways to cope with it. And I coped with it through humor, and I had to find a way to be persuasive and for people to like me, even though I was apparently ugly and I was deformed looking and weird looking and all these things. So for me, comedy and being the performer, I mean, I'm naturally a performer and I've always wanted to be since my earliest memories and be on stages, but really developing that skill and learning how to be liked has really come from being bullied so badly of how do I shine when I'm different and how do I stand out and how do I use comedy to disarm people and make them like me despite looking deformed and ugly, according to them.
It brings us full circle to the concept you promote, which is you are not broken, you are not inadequate, and it goes on, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's the thing is people say, I feel broken. Well, you might feel that way, but we're not. I mean, if we think about no matter what our spiritual views are, it's a miracle we're all alive. I mean, we come from something, just, whatever your spiritual views are, we come from something insanely powerful. And that you're part of that. That's who you are. And all this other stuff, it's not who you are. It's just circumstances that you need to drop into and move through, which sounds way easier than it really is. But yeah, I mean, I would love for our world to be able to wake up one day and realize that what happens if we were whole love and complete in every part of who we are and who our being is. And that would help us be able to have more love and compassion for ourselves, which then allows us to emit that out to the world.
Understanding the beginning and as well the ending is as important. Have you had that conversation with death in your life?
Many times, because I've actually died and went to the other side. The other side's fantastic, by the way. Anybody afraid of death, it's the other side's awesome. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're covered. But yeah, I mean, when you're born ready to die and not supposed to live and have the first surgery and are told that you're going to die by the time you're a teenager, my biggest challenge has been not rushing, because when you are born ready to die and you're living with illness and that's all that you've ever known since you were born, all you want to do is push hard, work hard, and achieve something and rush everything because you think you're going to die. And I've had to really undo, and still sometimes have to undo, slow down. You don't need to rush. You're breathing. You're alive. You don't need to accomplish everything in the next minute. But it's been a reprogramming of me to really learn to slow down and trust that I'm still going to be alive and breathing, and balancing that with the amount of things I want to accomplish. Because when you are born ready to die and you live with illness your whole life, you understand how precious your life is, and it makes you far more ambitious and fight harder. But there's that balance of fighting harder, but letting go.
Are you still singing?
Just keep singing, just keep singing. Of course, I'm still singing. Yeah, so I am still singing. I took a break because I had a major surgery a few years ago, but I'm getting back into it, and I'm back in classes, and I'm writing a couple of one-woman shows that are comedic. They're comedic and singing, but I'm doing, social commentary. One of them's around how to deal with narcissistic bullies, and one of them has to do with living with invisible disability and illness, since we'd never talk about this in our society. So yeah, I'm still performing a lot. Like I'm starting to perform a lot again, and I'm singing in different places. So yeah,
That's
I'm
great.
always singing. La.
That's great. Love it. Love
But
it.
professionally, getting back on a professional stage, that's more recent again.
All right.
That's I'm getting back on. Yeah.
Well, Cindy, I do appreciate you. I do appreciate the fact that I get to check in as your podcast accountability partner and say, Cindy, are you doing what you said you were going to do?
Oh
It
my
brings
gosh.
great joy. It is a pleasure to me and the amazing audience to know that you're staying true to your own unique real self. So thank you for that.
Thank you. You're such a treasure. You are such a treasure.
Thank
You
you.
for being out in the world.
Sure. My pleasure. Well, I mean, in closing, my friend, do share with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yeah. Trust your power, trust your gut above all others.
Love it. Again, Cindy Ashton. You can connect with her at cindyashton.com. Cindy, thanks for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.